joining us from today. This is a very illustrious panel we've assembled to talk about the forthcoming event, Formnext 2022. I'm Michael Petch, I'm the Editor-in-Chief at 3D Printing Industry, and today's event is going to be a mix of a panel to start off with, and then we will have a networking session if you're able to stay for that afterwards, where you'll get the opportunity to ask more questions to our panelists. Throughout today's event, please do make use of the Q&A window, which you will find to the right of your screen. If you would like to enter any questions in there, I'm just putting a sample question in now. I will make sure we pose that to our panelists. If you see questions you like, you may vote them up, and those questions will get a priority to be answered by today's guests. And today's guests, we have Sascha Wenzler, who is the Vice President at Mesago and the organizers of Formnext, Karsten Heuser, who is VP of Additive Manufacturing at Siemens, Philip Rosendahl, Head of Generative Design Lab at TU Darmstadt. Joining us from AM Ventures is Adrian Meyer-Ring, who is the Managing Partner there. And Christoph Eschenbrunner joins us from France Additive to give us an insight into that sector of the market. And last but no means least, we have from Arburg Additive, Victor Roman, who is the Managing Director. Gentlemen, welcome.
Welcome. Hello.
Hello, Michael.
Great to see you. Hello, everybody. Right. So, look, we've got quite a few people here today, and thank you all for your time. Perhaps let's start off with Sascha. We will go around and just do a brief introduction. So, Sascha, can you maybe tell us a little about yourself and
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. So you already perfectly introduced me. So I'm Sascha Wenzler, Vice President at Mesago Messe Frankfurt. And we are the organizers of Formnext right from the very first beginning when we started with the trade fair in 2015. So it's quite a very young trade fair, as you know, but it is the trade fair for the worldwide AM community. So I'm very happy, and thank you very much for hosting me today and us.
Karsten, obviously Siemens will be a name familiar to everybody, but perhaps you could just tell us a little bit about what you do there.
Yes, so hello to everybody. So I'm the Vice President of Siemens Additive Manufacturing here in Siemens. For us as a user, so we have a huge community of more than 250 experts working on additive, like health engineers, like mobility or smart infrastructures. And on the other side, I'm responsible for the go-to-market area, which means software, end-to-end solutions, automation, up to factory planning for additive manufacturing.
Marvelous. Victor, welcome. I see you're sitting in front of a very fine machine there.
Yes, I have some machines behind me. Thank you very much for the invitation. My name is Victor Roman, and I started at Arburg Additive 11 months ago in December 21. And as you heard it's Arburg Additive. It's a new company. That means Arburg bundled all the activities in 3D printing. That means the free-form activities here and the innovative printers with filament and with liquid silicone in one company called Arburg Additive. And I'm the general manager of Arburg Additive. And last but not least, I started with activities in additive manufacturing in my last company, 2015. So I have something like 7-8 years experience in additive manufacturing.
Marvelous. Christoph, you're representing a whole country today. So
yeah,
tell us more about that.
So thanks a lot for your invitation. So effectively, I'm the president of France Additive, with a national corporation. It's a non-profit organization. Myself, I work for Dassault Systèmes in the software industry. And effectively, we are very proud to be this year invited by Formnext as the country of the year. And we are fully invested to make this happen all together. It's not only having a focus on French, but eventually giving a French touch of this year, a major event of additive manufacturing in the world, next in Frankfurt.
Brilliant. And Philip, you're joining us from TU Darmstadt.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Philip. I'm heading the Generative Design Lab over at TU Darmstadt. So we are a research institution, and a bit uniquely, we care about the civil sector, the civil engineering sector. So our area research are rather unique materials such as brickwork, clay. We're developing a glass 3D printer. Of course, we need that at the scales of the civil sector, so that's going to be big. And at Formnext, we're hosting a special exhibition. It's called the BEAM exhibition, Built Environment Additive Manufacturing. Our exhibits are very large, so I invite everyone to stop by and look at how big additive can become.
Brilliant. And finally, we come to you, Adrian.
Thanks a lot, Michael. And thanks a lot for the promotion. Unfortunately, not a partner yet. Give me some years. I'm an associate at AM Ventures. We are a 100 million venture capital fund focused on industrial 3D printing, around since now 7 years, investing in hardware, software, material, and application startups in early stages all across the globe. Very happy to be here. Very much looking forward to the exchange later, and especially meeting all of you at Formnext, where, as a fun fact, AM Ventures and the portfolio companies became the largest exhibitor altogether. So plenty to show you there, but let's dig deeper during the next hour.
Let's get into that in a bit. So I'd like to come to you first, Sasha. You mentioned that it's a young show, but it's very quickly Formnext has become the place to be for anybody in the industry, and I've always had a fantastic time in Frankfurt. I'm really interested to know, in putting together the 2022 edition, what can we expect?
Yeah, Michael, thank you very much. So we are highly excited to host again the second real person-to-person trade fair during or after the Corona pandemic, because luckily last year we were also able to organize a real life and person-to-person event. But let me just give you a short outlook, starting with the figures. So currently, we run with a bit more than 750 exhibitors on the show floor. And when you have a look back, last year we hosted 606. And in our high peak year, 2019, we had 852 exhibiting guests on the show floor. So it's right on the way to the 2019 figures, which is perfect. And also having a look at the internationality of our customers, it's still 60%, which means really the whole world active in additive manufacturing is already packing the luggage and putting all things together to join us in a few weeks in Frankfurt. So that's also really very impressive, because you have to take into account that Asia and especially China is still missing on European trade fair show floors. So these 60% are international from all over Europe, the rest of the world, and especially the US. So our top 5 international countries are the US, our partner country France, the Netherlands, UK, and Italy. And then a lot of European countries will join us. But you just mentioned it, Michael, and I will really keep it short. What makes Formnext, I think, such a unique exhibition, when you look globally on different events taking place around AM, we focused from the very first beginning on an industrial scope of additive manufacturing. And I always called it from the very first beginning, it's not a 3D printer show. And I think that's a very unique USP we have, focusing on the whole process of real additive manufacturing. And all of your guests here, except of me on the stage, are representing different parts of this really highly interesting industrial technology. And that's where we developed Formnext to this kind of event we talk about. And we always did this very close with the industry. So that's also a very positive part of our strategy, And I just look into the direction of Karsten and Victor representing companies being in our advisory board. So, and persons in our advisory board. So that this exchange is important also for the success. And then I will hand over again to you, just having a look also not only on the figures, but what's inside this year. A lot of events happening. So we will have the process chain coming back on the show floor of industrial additive manufacturing. We will have our famous 3D Discover 3D printing seminars running. We will have the TCT conference running in parallel. We will have a live TV stream taking place on our stage over all the 4 days to stream highlights out of the show floor worldwide. And we will have a lot of things, for example, together with our partner country, France, taking place. So there will be a special day and afternoon dedicated to France. We have, together with Philip, the building and architecture part of AM. We have a day dedicated to career, to young professionals, to young engineers. Together with our honorary sponsor, VDMA, we have a special area and program parts. Then a new format called Deep Thought, where we focus on different applications, and we start with aerospace this year. So a lot of events amending the show, and again, it will be on 4 show floors like in 2019. So together with you, we celebrate the family coming back to Frankfurt.
Marvelous. You mentioned so much there, but what I'd like to ask our panelists really, perhaps from the people who are exhibiting, is just to understand a little bit more about the core areas here and what we might be able to expect if we visit the booths or the booths of the companies you work with. So here I'm talking about this trifecta of additive, and the core areas being machines, materials, and software. Karsten, perhaps you can give us a preview of what we can expect at Siemens, from Siemens.
Yeah, so Sasha, I can't wait to come to Formnext. Thanks to you guys and the whole Mesago team for organizing this. For us at Siemens, we started our invitation process as well, because yes, we are the family, but we are so many other companies, they do not yet know what Formnext is. So we need to motivate them. How do we from Siemens motivate them? We look on the main driver, and this is something we will show on site. One main driver is resilience in supply chain. There we show solutions how to make additive parts available anywhere at any time with a comprehensive solution from the demand to the supply. The second one is sustainability, which is overarching for all the customers and companies we work. Siemens, for ourselves, we want to be CO2 neutral by 2030. And I think many of the other companies in the world have similar targets. Additive is a very good lever to contribute to these sustainability targets. So we will showcase how you have a much better material efficiency, how you can plan and run full factories, how you design industrial 4.0 machines with automation, and how to bring this in ecosystems with software solutions end-to-end together. And we had already the honor with one example last week at the press conference of Sascha, showing as well how companies work together with Siemens and Beam here from France, as well a nice showcase for the French-German partnership and solving holistically end-to-end the applications to make additive available at scale.
Adrian, you've got a bit of a unique perspective on the industry. You mentioned AM Ventures now got this 100 million fund. So some of your investments are going to be at the show. What can people look forward to?
Yeah. Well, first of all, on a broader view, what we've seen is that venture capital investments, except of 2020, steadily grew. So roughly almost 30% year over year, which we expect will be seen not only with our portfolio, but also other startup companies, newer companies that will really have strong presence at the show and show great things. If you look back 30 years ago when everything started, a little more, 3D Systems or in EOS, these were startups that were revolutionizing the world. And now again, it's startups that bring a lot of innovation and a lot of speed to the industry, which makes this and helps this grow perfectly. Now looking at our portfolio and what we're going to show, we really want to focus a lot on applications. In 2021, we scouted more than 800 startup companies within 1 year. We used home office a lot and we're really very active scouting. And what we saw was that more than half of these startups we scouted had applications as their products. So either consumer applications, but also applications where, for example, in an electric motor, a key component is additively manufactured. And I mean, this is really the justification for additive manufacturing that we see, that eventually people, companies, and startups alike are using the technology. And I hope very much that we see many great applications, many products shown. I think this was last year already a little trend, less big machines, but showcasing parts, and yeah, show the world what additive can do.
Great. Let's definitely come back to applications a bit later on, because that's a really interesting area. Now, Victor, Arburg is a little bit beyond the startup phase now, but what can we expect to see from your company?
Well, I think there are two points of view. The first thing is our business at Arburg is injection molding machines. It's a very clear business, an older business, and it's growing and growing. And that's what we expect also with additive manufacturing. That means to get machines for industrial applications. That means the business case has to fit. And that means, on the other side, that the machine has to work economically. That means the price and the building of the part time, all the things have to be economically. And on the other side, we need a very good quality. You need, on one side, the materials. We are working with pellets. That's the Arburg idea, to work with original materials like injection molding. That means we are working with pellets, and then to get parts with a very high quality. So comparison with injection molding is a little bit difficult, but the quality has to be very good. And so therefore we started to improve our freeformer. We have the freeformer now since 2013 in the market. We started to improve our freeformer in order to get these tasks. That means now we will show on the K-Fair next month, or no, in 3 weeks, and on the Formnext in November, we will show our new freeformer, larger, better, I think much more better. That's the first product now that we show the Formnext. On the other side, we have the innovative products, the filament printers. There we have also two new printers that we will show on the Formnext. So I think we are doing a lot. And doing a lot means not only hardware, it means also software, because I believe that, I'm sure that 50% and I know 50-60% of the know-how in 3D printing is in the software, and I see a lot of potentials in improving the software for the future. That's my opinion. And then the last point, but I think it will be a later point, or I can say some words now to this point, is the topic sustainability, because
let's come back to that.
Let's come back to that.
Okay. Yes.
Then I'm ready. Yeah.
Let's come back to that, because, and you mentioned software, so I'd like to bring you in here, Philip. I know that you head up the Generative Design Lab. Maybe you could tell us, what people might be seeing a little bit more from yourselves in Frankfurt.
Yeah, software is a good keyword, because if we're thinking additive manufacturing, we're thinking of free-form designs, something that's delicate, complicated, maybe mimicking some biological designs, things that we're typically not seeing in the built environment so far. If we see buildings, they're rectangular and squared, and that has obviously a reason, because it's cheap, because it's easy to manufacture, and in particular, if you think facades, connecting elements in many different angles together, that becomes very expensive if you do that with traditional ways of manufacturing this. You need to weld every single connector. That's a lot of manual labor, and obviously we try to get around that. And of course, additive manufacturing can help here, and of course that's something that we're going to exhibit in our show. And software plays a big role there, because we need tools for architects and engineers to design these new systems and to allow for these leverages. So what we do as a research institution, we try to look at the entire workflow from the digital design, translating that into parametric analyses of structures, translating that into parts that we want to print, translate that into a tool path, and finally into the printed part. And of course, we'll try to scan everything at the same time while it's being built. So we have a digital twin of our of the manufactured parts, and can actually also monitor the structure. So I'd say that's our research, or part of our research interest, for sure.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Now, Christoph, I'm going to come to you now. And you've got quite a large task, actually, because we're talking about France Additive. So I'd like to know a little bit about what the companies you're representing will be bringing to the show. But also, I think it'd be really interesting just to understand a bit more about the market in France and how you view that.
Yeah, so effectively, so we can be considered as the fourth market in the world, maybe at the same place than Italy or UK or maybe Korea, Japan. Approximately 500 million euro per year, so including parts, hardware, software, and materials. It's approximately 200 different actors who are addressing the domain in terms of solution providers. And we have also a deep network covering our territories. So how does it work in France? You probably know that we have one specificity, maybe in Europe, is that we have quite strong regions. So around these regions, we have clusters of companies. So two of them, for example, will be there. It's cluster Nouvelle-Aquitaine and cluster SIM from Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region. And they are coming with different entities. It can be startup, it can be final users, it can be due company, traditional one, who will be on the booth and will showcase what they have to focus on. What we have also in France is a network of research centers and academic players. Some of them are well known worldwide, and they will be there to introduce how you can work with the French actors. So the idea is that you can collaborate with our entities. There is a very well-known companies who are settle their activities in France with a view to work with our CNRS or with a CEA or with such actor in material like Arkema, for example, who have their quarter in France, or for Dassault Systèmes in the software industry. And what we have also is, when you were talking about applications, we have really strong players. It can be startup or SMBs, but it's also the large group that are in different industries. And clearly, some of them will come to Formnext. They will participate to the different roundtables and will explain what makes maybe different the approach that we have in France addressing additive manufacturing, particularly because we have various strategic sectors that we want to address, and we have quite a long-term vision of these sectors. And these sectors, their strategic ambitions around, for example, hydrogen or batteries. So all the cluster is working on that with quite a long vision within a program that is called France 2030, and it's funded by the French government. So it's all a dynamism will be there at Formnext, and we will try to explain how you can interact when you're a worldwide company with the French ecosystem and what the French ecosystem has to offer to the worldwide actor as a partner or as a provider.
Excellent. I look forward to coming and picking the brains of a few people myself then in that case. So, like I mentioned, it's an interactive event and questions have started to come in. Jeremiah Silva has asked, are we just going to be sort of talking about printers using metal powders? No, of course not. Sasha, I think you've mentioned there'll be a lot of companies, including ones which use sort of WAM process, which is a wire-fed process, and there'll be the whole range, as you mentioned, polymers, metals, ceramics, and other materials. I'm suspecting maybe even some biomaterials might be on show. Jeremiah, I hope that answers your question there. If the audience have further questions, please do drop those into the chat. Now, Victor, we're going to come back to something you mentioned just now. So we've heard a few themes here. We've heard about the process chain, sustainability, industrialization. These are big themes that come up in additive. I'd like to know which key themes in AM are important to you and your company, and how are you tackling these? So I think, Victor, let's come to you first.
Yes, thank you. I think the first point is we are a very green company, not only in our company logo, because we have a green bar. We are also a green company because I looked in our data and we have 42% of the power generation is produced by ourselves, and something like 14-16% are renewable. That means it's our current. We are since 2016 100% CO2 neutral. So that means we started very early to be a green company. And it's also very important for us now, for the colleagues in injection molding, to speak with the customers and to calculate the CO2 footprint for the produced products with injection molding. And that's also a topic that is also very important for us in Arburg Additive, because I see a lot of potentials. At first, to know what are the reasons for the numbers, for the facts in the CO2 footprint. So the power generation, it's clear. We are a producer of machines. That means that is something that we can calculate very good. And there we have very good figures because we're producing our own power energy. On the other side, to produce with the printer parts. And I think the first point is that 3D printing is predestinated for sustainable manufacturing, because you are working only with the material that you need later in the part, so you don't have waste. So, and then the second point is how efficient is working the machine. So what is the power consumption of the machine later at a customer? And that are things that we are calculating. We are looking how to get it better, to get it faster, and to get this sustainable problems. Because we saw the last 2 years, we had Corona, we had the economic crisis, but now I think the last 6 months we are discussing about gas and electricity, and I think it's only a beginning of a new topic. That means sustainability, renewable, they are very important points.
Thank you very much, Victor. Karsten, can I come to you? I'd love to hear Siemens' perspective on the key themes in additive currently.
Yeah, just to name a few ones, and I cannot agree more to Victor. Sustainability, I see it as a make and break for the additive industry. If we do it right, like explained from Victor, a kind of green additive manufacturing, then we are really pushing the technology for something good in the world. We will show this in the solutions, and as Victor explained, there are different attributes. it's to have the most efficient production on the shop floor with software and automation to need the least energy for the production. But then you have the upstream and the downstream factor. So we need to look on the materials, how are the materials produced, and on the downstream side, on the use of additive, that normally you have the chance to use only 50% of material to reach the same performance or increased performance. So we save a lot of raw material in operation with additive manufacturing. This is one big theme. Second theme is how to scale performance improved products. We've seen so many first POCs, proof of concepts, first applications in small quantities. The next years are about scaling to really 100,000 to million parts of these to really make an impact. And this is a theme we are having as well, automation and software end to end. It's about planning the most efficient, the most sustainable factory as well, the machine. And here I'm very happy that Mesago always looked on having not only the printer at the Formnext, it's probably 50% of it in post-processing, coloring, smoothing, and all this stuff. So this is very important. And to name a third one, I think we're going into a trend to repair more parts instead of producing new parts. As well, here, additive has a key important role to repair parts, metallic parts, but as well other parts. And you can save a lot of energy by that, up to digital warehouses, where in a digital warehouse, you don't even produce a part, you only keep it as a virtual asset, and then you produce and print it on demand in a local area where you need it. And so sustainability is an umbrella. This is a must-have for everything. No factory manager will invest into anything which is not helping his sustainability targets. Under this umbrella, it's about performance, scaling of parts. It's about repair and improved parts on digital warehousing. And it's about delivering the best factory with automation and software solutions end to end.
Excellent. And Sasha, so Karsten just mentioned quite a few things there, including scalability. And I'm intrigued because Formnext, one of the things you say on the website is the next generation of intelligent industrial production. Perhaps you can explain that theme a little bit more and how people can explore that in Frankfurt.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. So it's and I try also to amend a little bit what Victor and Karsten just said to reach the positive effects of sustainability lying in the technology of additive manufacturing and the ecosystem around additive manufacturing. The point is scaling, like we learned and like we heard. In respect of sustainability, this sounds in the first step a little bit counterproductive, because when you scale, you need more of something. But when you use the technology more, you can use the possibilities it has, going also to the supply chain, to material, to dislocated production. And what's necessary therefore, that's really, let's call it a kind of unsexy topic. And that's amending what we just heard. And that's also part of the answer you just asked, Michael, is the part of standardization and norms necessary to create a stable basis for industrial manufacturing. Because like we all know from very conventional manufacturing and production methods, it's always necessary to have this standardization process and this standardization of, for example, material or of whole manufacturing processes or parts of it. So that's what's also implemented in the core of Formnext, and we make it live one day before the show starts. So when you have the time to join already on Monday the 14th, there together with the ASTM organization from the US and the German norms institutes and the European ones, we have a norms and standards forum organized by ASTM together with us, focusing exactly on this. So together with the standardization and the process we just talked about, only together with this we can reach this industrial scaling and the potential lying in AM also when we have a look at the sustainability part. But all of us, we know we also have to have a look on the whole life cycle discussion. But also there, AM has advantages when compared to some other manufacturing methods. And all this together is always our aim to show this on the show floor, not only by different exhibits, but amended also by the special shows. Some of our panelists are also here on board representing this part, and showing the application at the end and the solution the application can bring not only to the product but to the whole process. So that's I think that's highly important when we talk about such industrial scaling, also under the umbrella of sustainability. And we always have the aim to make this visible and to have the right people there explaining this.
Mm-hmm. And I certainly feel that from as an attendee, that you get that real feeling of being energized by just what's possible with the industry. When you see the technology, you talk to the people behind it, and there's that interaction where, you know, sort of light bulb moments are happening. It's marvelous. Adrian, so you're working with so many sort of challenger companies, you know, sort of startups who are pursuing innovative ideas. What sort of themes do you see across your portfolio, and maybe beyond the portfolio?
Yeah, well, first of all, what I can add to the topic of heading into serial production, I think a very, very good sign here also is that within the portfolio we see many projects where serial production manufacturing lines are being built, also together with corporations, with large partners. And I think the good news is that you know, if you're a corporation, a customer, and you identified your products and you want to go into the field, everyone in the industry will do everything to make that happen. And thus it is happening. So that's one thing. With this 5-year-old portfolio companies, some of them they're really into this now. That's great. Then looking a little broader, I can always recall what we're scouting currently. And one thing is I found interesting. There are many software companies that are rather small and focus on very specific topics. So as topology optimization, again, interesting solutions, process parameter optimization and development, and so on and so forth. Not necessarily venture capital investment cases, but you see mathematicians, real experts, finding additive manufacturing, the industry they want to go in and find solutions. So from all angles on the software field, there is a lot of solutions being developed. What we saw less over the last couple of years is, so it was always hardware that was being developed. So over the last, we started 2,500 startups, and I think roughly half of them were hardware. And what we see less is the next disruptive hardware. So a lot of improvements, a lot of work on reliability, bigger, a little faster, but less really very new concepts, which also shows, okay, we have a very, very good basis. And looking at hardware, people, I think, also realize that it's always, and again, I love applications, you always have to find the right technology for the specific application. So there's always a right technology for your application. And I'm pretty sure there is a solution out there. And as we have a great community, you will be helped for sure.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about applications now. I think, as you mentioned, there's maybe less innovation in the hardware side of the business, which is, I think, an indicator of a level of maturity. Really, platforms are stabilizing. People are sort of setting their sights on hardware they want to use, and they're looking at what they want to use it for. Philip, let's go to you first. Maybe you could talk about some of these killer apps for additive.
Yeah, happy to do so. I want to add a perspective to the scaling discussion we're having here, and that's the perspective from the building sector, because that's again, it's a bit different. The building sector, if you will, is rather small, and by small I mean the size of companies involved. That means most of the companies are small and medium-sized companies. They cannot really do large investments because of their small size. So they can't, I don't know, put up a casting mold or something that's out of their reach. But what they can afford is a 3D printer, an additive manufacturing machine, because they're, so to speak, relatively cheap. And then what's also small in this sector is the number of parts that we need. Houses or buildings are typically one-off solutions. Of course, we have one-family homes that are repetitively produced, and some facade systems maybe are systems that use parts repetitively. But if you think of iconic buildings and architectural designs and everything, all these are one-off solutions. So the number of parts that you would need there, if those are 1,000 parts of the same, that's already so much. And that is a unique fit of additive manufacturing and the building sector, in my point of view, because the industry can afford the investments, and it's basically the technology they've been looking for. They need these one-off solutions. They need the individualized parts, and that's really interesting for us, and that's what we're seeing. Why the adoption in the industry now really picks up speed. I would say they've been lacking behind the, say, traditional mechanical engineering industry, because it's a relatively conservative field. Building sector, of course, we're building for hundreds of years, so they better be conservative and make sure that nothing breaks down there. But now they're seeing the applications. And when we started going into research, say 10 years ago, we were laughed at a little bit. They were like, additive manufacturing in the building sector, we're welding things, we're casting concrete, we don't need this. And now we see all these solutions. We see 3D printed concrete, we see houses being printed in Germany, in France, in the US. China even wants to build an entire one-family home village. We see this in Africa because we can transport these printers, which are more or less a set of portal cranes that are being set up, and just a unit that pumps concrete into shape. And because we've developed the materials, we can do all these things, and we see them in the facade. We see them, even for brickwork, which stacking square bricks, that seems like a very old tradition of a way of building. But we're exploring additive manufacturing in a way that stacking bricks robotically could be considered a way of additive manufacturing. But we're also manufacturing the bricks itself in an additive manner by adding functionalizations to them, piping systems printed directly into the bricks, or even cavities for birds to nest in is an application that we're seeing. And the field is quite innovative in finding these business cases where additive makes sense, even in a conservative field as the building sector.
Michael, do you allow to jump in with a short thought on that? Because I think we need more of the Philips in the world. If we talk now about scaling, we talk a lot about machines, hardware, software, applications. At the end, we need people. We need people to make it happen. If you want to scale, additive is still maybe low 1% of the manufacturing industry. And Philip just showed that there are so many areas like concrete, houses, whatever, we can jump on. We can make an impact. We can make a change happen in these industries. So scaling is as well a lot about people. And this is my wish as well, to reach as many people, to motivate them move into additive, move into study something in this area, go to Formnext, learn, connect with the companies. We can never make the scale happen by a factor 10 to 1,000 if we do not have enough employees learn about the design, the application, how to run machines, how to run productions, and convince as well the millions of existing workforce we have in the classical manufacturing industry.
I mean, and on construction as well, it's barely a week goes by without somebody emailing us, and bear in mind we're a news publication, asking, can you 3D print us a building? So it's, that's one application that's really sort of, I think, captured people's imagination. Christoph, I mean, perhaps you could tell us a bit about the applications you're seeing in manufacturing for additive. What's some of the exciting uses there?
Yeah, so clearly where we see something really new recently is the work in the food industry. So we have a very interesting startup called La Pâtisserie Numérique, who is making cakes and various consumer goods directly printing foods. So it's a very good example of new domains. We see a lot of things in the healthcare domain. So it's effectively what we can see worldwide. But we have an actor with Prodways Group who is doing very well in the dental alignment system. And this is something that is really progressing well with industrial mass personalization or mass customization process. We have a few companies doing also very well in the construction sector. With the X3, for example, is one of the actors that is offering a very interesting solution in this domain. Clearly, you have talked about softwares, and we have a series of small actors who are also working on the different steps of additive manufacturing with interesting initiative around the digital warehouse and marketplace. Addressing the supply chain. We have also two actors, a small startup and a major worldwide actor, subsidiary of the Orange Telecom Group. And these two actors, they are working on tracking security using blockchain or similar encryption solutions to deal with IP protection. That would be one of the key factor in the future to secure the various investment in the application domain. So clearly, effectively, we see famous things. And for example, I invite you to visit a company called Lattice Medical that will be in the startup area of Formnext, and they are working on breast for girls and ladies who had a concern about their breast, and they have really extraordinary solutions to help them to get back in a good shape and good health. So this is different things that we will try to emphasize and to share all together during Formnext. I think there's approximately 40 to 50 different exhibitors coming from France and various end users. One of them will be, for example, Renault, who will have a testimonial on what they call a refactory. So they have implemented a manufacturing lab in the plant where they are working on a refurbishment of cars, working on how to refurbish these different cars and put them again on the market using additive manufacturing as a way to work on refurbishment. So let's come and visit these different actors. It will be great.
And a follow-up there, I heard cakes. I heard 3D printed cakes. Will I be able to get a croissant for breakfast that's been 3D printed?
We will see. There's different things organized on the Pavillon France and with Mesago and Formnext organization. So clearly, I hope that we will have such things. After it's difficult to make in quantities, and Formnext is a major event with plenty visitors. So let's see if there is a traditional croissant or a printed one.
I can't say I've ever gone hungry or thirsty during Formnext week. There's a manner of things there. Adrian, you brought up applications earlier in reference in particular to that electric motor. Christoph has mentioned startups as well appearing at Formnext. I know there's some interesting news coming out soon, but maybe you can't say too much about that. But perhaps you can say something about the applications.
Well, maybe one more thought. Christoph mentioned lattice medical, so bioresorbable materials, and this just came to my mind that this is exactly something as well that we see growing, and it feels that people take it more and more seriously. So not having implants and but really looking at materials, whether polymers or others, to resorbable applications. So this is also something that we see and we dig into. Now there is CFIUS in the US, which is a government thing that holds us from really announcing things yet. I hope by Formnext we can. We will present something new, hopefully. And then generally applications is really a very wide variety. You know, we have inkers with really high precision small parts for various applications. Look at Dimension, who is post-processing anything out of polymer, basically, so they know everything what's happening there. So just visit us. Hard to tell, you know, many examples. Better show them. Right.
Okay. And Sasha, let's close off this topic just with the applications that you've that stand out for you, or anything you can say. Oh, I think you're on mute there, Sasha. There we go.
That's the button. Yeah, thanks, Michael. Yeah, so far we always follow and I monitor the companies joining us and what they want to present, and a lot of topics are already mentioned. So let me just go through some of the point I made. Also, I'm having my notes. One is a lot of M&A activities. Adrian knows about them quite well, and we all followed the last weeks. Some very big M&A results happened already, and followed by also some and many smaller ones. So that's also an indication of a real industrial ecosystem we are working in, and that's important to push the whole community and the whole industry forward. So that will also be part of the show floor, looking at the startup area you already mentioned. At the pitches we have together with the startups, showing their ideas to, not at least, to the possible investors. Then we also heard about hybrid materials coming or increasing and being showed. Then new metals also joining the material side. Then we just heard from Philip what's happening with architecture and building. Then also in the post-processing, a lot of companies join AM, not with an AM solution, but with their post-processing solution for AM. So that's post-processing of metal parts, of polymers. There are a lot of technologies identifying or exploring the possibilities from traditional to amending the portfolio of the company with AM post-processing technologies. You just mentioned also the coloring of parts. Then we have very specialized solutions for machine tools, having AM manufactured. The German word is the head of the tool. So I hope that was the right translation into English. So there are also very specialized solutions for conventional machine tool technologies, which is also an indication of a highly specialized technology right now. Last but not least, we have also quite a bunch of new machines on the show floor. Some of the machines are coming with more and more, for example, lasers. Some very new machines are coming in from new companies. So still the AM central part of AM manufacturing is joining us with new companies and new machines. So also we have 3D printing in micro scale coming. So it's on a very, very small scale, totally on the opposite side of just what Philip said. It's going in the micrometer part of material and products. So and also some, let's say, very traditional historical companies also adding an additive manufacturing branch, like Siemens did already, or like Arburg did already, now coming to Frankfurt and being known to a lot of conventional industry players. But now they are joining us. So just like you can feel, it's really highly exciting what's happening.
Yes.
And more people, Karsten, are becoming this, this additive manufacturing blink in the eye. We are, I call us together always, we are the additive addicts, and more are joining.
Great. Look, we're getting to the end of the panel section. There will be a networking following this. So we're going to have one last round. We're going to come back to you, Sasha, last. Gentlemen, if you could keep your answers relatively short for this final question. We'll start off with you, Philip. And the question here is, if you're sitting on the fence about attending Formnext 2022, why should you attend? And supplemental, for first-time attendees, what is your top tip for them to make the most of the week?
Wow, tough question. I'd attend because I see the full spectrum of the industry. And I'm saying this because we were on one end of it. We are the very, very large scale end of the spectrum. And you see tiny parts that are absolutely fascinating too. Making this a worthwhile day is just go with the flow, go through the halls, look at everything, talk to everyone. Everyone's super welcoming, and make sure to visit some of the stages. The program there used to be amazing. I expect it to be amazing this year too.
Thank you. Adrian.
Yeah, I remember well when I was a working student back 6-7 years ago. I went to Formnext and I was able to learn so many things and meet all these inspiring people that I got addicted. So yeah, you can learn everything about AM at Formnext and meet all important players and people. So highly recommend this. And for sure, as I promised, Michael, I gotta tell also that the Rave Till AM party on Tuesday evening is back together with you guys, Free Your Mind and Dimension. We are hosting this again. So a little fun at it as well, again, at this year's edition. So very welcome to welcoming you at our booth and yeah, show you around.
What a way to start the week on the Tuesday night. Christoph, why should people attend? Top tips for attending?
Yeah, I think they are probably sure to participate if they are concerned by additive manufacturing in an industrial context. Maybe if they have some questions about coming, they can read the last edition of the Phone magazine, where you have the national flag of France as a cover. Clearly, they will find a lot of information to consider participation. They will also have a various event in parallel to the trade show. And there is, I think, if they are an exhibitor, there is every year a great event at the end of the day. There will be also on the French pavilion various animation. So you're very welcome. We have good fun, a lot of great information, a lot of new solution pushed on the market. And I think be part of Formnext is also be part of a community developing its own network. It's also key to meet each other to build the future.
Marvelous. Victor, your final thoughts and why to attend, please.
For me, it's very easy because we are a machine manufacturer, and I'm very glad also the K in 3 weeks and then on the Formnext to see to present the new Freeformer 750. It's the old design, but the technology is completely improved. We are larger, we are faster, we are cheaper, and we can print very interesting natural materials or normal materials. So I'm very happy to be there. And last but not least, I'm very happy to meet all the cool people. It's not like a classical fair. They are very cool people thinking forwards. That's what I like. And at least to meet all the friends that I think I never saw them the last 2 years with Corona, and to see Michael also after 2 years again.
Thank you, Victor. Karsten, why should people attend Formnext 2022?
I agree to many what the others have said, but I would stress something which is the culture of the AM community. The culture is very special. If you have been already at Formnext, people help each other. We are not yet in a mature phase. We support each other from the end of the machine, the software, even on competitive areas. So experience the culture. Once you go to Formnext, you will be so fascinated about the technology, you will never want to go into any classical manufacturing area again. So I can bet if you go there, the culture is unique. And last but not least, one tip is, I think prepare in advance. So I think fairs these times, yes, you can go over and you walk and go on every booth. Prepare your stay. Prepare your stay and book your team. For us, for example, book your spot with Siemens Team Additive or many of the other colleagues here in advance to have a very comfortable and convenient experience when you travel there. And Sasha, I think there's a big party on Thursday once more, which is as well speaks for the culture of the Formnext. Great.
So, Sasha, some stunning testimonials there, and I agree with Karsten. Prepared, there's an awful lot to see and do and people to meet. What about your?
Definitely. So, thank you again for hosting us, Michael, today. And I'm happy. We are happy. The whole team is happy to host all of you in November in Frankfurt. You are Formnext. So join the family. You are the family. Our part is also to make the family bigger, to bring more and more people to this very fascinating technology. Start with the standards on Monday, then finish on Friday. In between, all of us, we work very hard, but also we play very hard. So the parties are going on and everybody can feel safe. That's also very important. The state of Hessen just published a new regulation regarding Corona measures, and B2B trade fairs are out of every regulation. So we can really feel safe, and therefore join, work hard, and play hard. We see us in Frankfurt.
Thank you so much. What a great note to end on. Sasha, Karsten, Victor, Christoph, Philip, and Adrian, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you, everybody who joined us as well. We'll be switching from the panel now to the networking, so if you've got time and you'd like to know more, please do hang around. Otherwise, see you all in Frankfurt.
See you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.